Hello everyone on the internet who loves Warhammer, and today I thought with the announcement of Horus Heresy 3.0, I thought that it would be a great time to take a trip back to 3 years ago when Horus Heresy 2.0 was rumored, released, shown off, as well as just talk after its release. In this series, Remembrance of the Past Edition. So, let's get into it. So, the Horus Heresy. Now, for context, since this is the first video, we need to talk about when I got into Warhammer, which was back in December of 2019. And one of the things I can definitely say that is crazy compared to like what it is now is just how plentiful the content is, as well as just everything. Like, I think I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, probably when I got into it, looked on YouTube and everything, there really wasn't much. But within like 5 years alone, you had the Adeptus Ridiculous, Astartes Anonymous, Poor Hammer, all these kinds of like channels really popping up, talking about Warhammer. These are just to name a few. That's when it really spiraled into what Warhammer is now, and just how overwhelmingly, I want to describe it as intoxicating, but just how much just amazing content there is, animations and everything. It is just truly wonderful. So, with additions coming out and me having nostalgia of it all, let's talk about it. I really don't have much about Horus Heresy 1.0 when it came out. All I know is there was a lot of it was composed of resin. You had to go to Forge World, which is a website that no longer exists, because I forget when this happened, but probably about a year ago, they integrated both Forge World and Games Workshop website into one website, which allows you to fully have access to their whole catalog of items. The only way you can tell if it's a resin model if it says 17 plus of age for it. I don't even know when this happened, but of course you always have Valerac talking about rumors. And mostly that's kind of like my go-to guy that I always watch content about when it comes to like the rumors and what is to be expected. And I forget when, but I do remember that it started with the Kill Team that involved the Death Court of Krieg. Before that, they were a Forge World exclusive, meaning they were composed of resin, difficult to get, and everything like that. That was arguably the first sign of, okay, this is what they're going to do. They're going to refurbish old resin models and converting them into plastic. And that was the first sign. And then from there, the rumors of Horus Heresy 2.0 started appearing. Videos talking about it. And it was just going to be a whole-on plastic catalog of the miniatures. All that changed when, and I still remember this. I remember it was a showcase. I think it was Adepticon, if I recall correctly, because it was in March, like late end of March. And I remember I was in my outpost, aka my like college dorm, because at the time I was in college, and I was just playing video games and I was watching it on my laptop. And that's when, at the end of the whole showcase, that's when they showed the Horus Heresy cinematic trailer of March of 23rd, 2022. I remember that was on, I believe, a Wednesday night. That was absolutely incredible to watch. I mean, that alone was just breathtakingly amazing. If I recall correctly, I think that was one of the first cinematic trailers they've made that involves their own homemade studio that shows off animation, and it was just absolutely breathtaking. I really remember that it was just such an incredible cinematic trailer to watch that I've watched that so many times. From there, they started introducing on the Warhammer community website, they started introducing Horus Heresy Thursdays, which were like these little articles showing off each little individual miniature of what you can expect in the Age of Darkness set, which was the Horus Heresy 2.0 starter set box. It was designed in which you could basically have everything you need to play Horus Heresy. A lot of us in the community said you need to get 2 of those boxes if you want a full-on Horus Heresy army to play, but if it's just you and your friend and you split it up, it can work as well. When that was released in June that same year, I remember I got it, and that was actually a fun experience because I bought it at a local hobby store. It was around the time when I recently got a part-time job, and it was my first paycheck, and I used some of that money to buy the box set so I could experience Warhammer hobby. And I would say that this box set alone was truly the best thing ever. I still have it, and I'm basically only halfway through the models, pretty much. but it's great. It has everything I would say a person needs to experience the hobby for the first time. From an extreme ton of space marines, a dreadnought, and a tank, as well as terminators, and 2 character units for like command and everything. It really provides you with everything you could ever imagine, even down to like water transfers as well. It really is great for like trying out the hobby, ranging from minis to tanks and maybe a bigger model. It really is wonderful, and it is just absolutely is fun to think about just how fun it was. And on top of that, it also came with the 2.0 rulebook and explains all the legions, their origins, and everything like that, as well as the rules of how to play Horus Heresy. It's more complex type game, but since then, following the Horus Heresy release, it has really become something of amazingness, really introducing like other armies from the Horus Heresy, such as the Solar Auxiliar, as well as the Mechanicus as well, like introducing and fleshing out them from back during the Horus Heresy as well as mostly like overall creating a very unique way of how it was structured. Really converting anything that was once resin, such as the vehicles and Space Marines, even with the different armors, converting the plastic, which was awesome, as well as really feeling like, hey, just because we don't use resin anymore doesn't mean we can't still have resin units, in which they created special characters and special units as well, in which, hey, you had to buy this resin if you want it. Even on like awesome little upgrade packs as well, if you wanted to have a Pacific Legion to decorate, which I thought was also pretty cool. Which now that I think about it, I remember following the Horus Heresy release, a lot of people thought that, oh, we're gonna have like Titans, plastic Titans and everything. And that's insane because it's been like arguably 3 years and still no Titan. But yeah, all in all, it is again very like intricate and awesome how the Horus Heresy was pretty much revitalized with the plastic minis. It really gives off that awesome vibe of it, making it seem possible for like the Horus Heresy to happen. And I really would say like with thanks to it being plastic now, it really has opened it up for like a lot of people to go out and buy Horus Heresy models. Because instead of the resin being a deterrent, because keep in mind, another thing about the resin models when it came to Games Workshop was that they are flimsy and sometimes not good. I also wanted to take a moment and talk about just the tediousness of dealing with resin when it came to those big models. Basically, for starters, when you first get the model, you have to clean it and scrub it because there is a substance on it that helps it get released from the mold press so it doesn't stick to the mold press. And if you don't remove that, the paint won't stick. From there, if you do any trimming or shaving, you need to be careful and wear a respirator due to the fact that those are small pieces of resin, and if they get into your lungs, it's toxic. And from that, because it's resin, you need to use super glue. You can't use any form of plastic glue, which basically means if that super glue gets on your fingers, they're stuck as well. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the overall hassle. Compared to if you're working with a plastic model, you can just easily clip, glue with plastic, nice and easy, good to go, instead of going through all these steps when it comes to dealing with resin models. I would say the Horus Heresy was just amazing. And then it got better. For instance, when it came to, like, as I stated, talked about with the resin, they also talked about introducing, like, more updated Primarchs. For instance, you have Horus in a much more ascended power form. You have transfigured Fulgrim and transfigured Angron as well. Really introducing that. Even Lotera Sunal, I forget her last name. Lotera. Her, an icon favorite. She gets her own model. It really encourages like, I don't like 40k Fulgrim. I like Horus Heresy Fulgrim. Well, use him instead if you want to, on the tabletop. And again, it really provides that. Like, I still remember, like, people who wanted to make a Death Guard army, they would use some of the Death Guard bits from Warhammer 40k and combine them with Mark II armor from the Horus Heresy. And since it's all plastic, it's easy to assemble and apply. It really hits home, like, the Horus Heresy revival is, it's no longer resin, it's plastic. And with that, you can now have a lot more kit bashing. You can have arguably less problems. It's just more enjoyable. Like, I know I keep emphasizing on that, but it really is, at the end of the day, provided a lot more of easier for people to try it, get hype, and enjoy it. And I think that's what really captures the Horus Heresy, was all this like old stuff coming back in a new form, revitalized. which everyone in the Warhammer community pretty much enjoys. And with the launch of 3rd edition, with the most recently Saturnine, an ancient pattern that we thought was just myth and legend, is actually coming out on the tabletop. I can imagine people going back and updating old lore videos explaining Terminator armor and the different types of Dreadnought, because we now have Saturnine. For me, I'm excited for Axis Mark II armor in the box set, as well as with that, we have the Salamanders versus the Iron Warriors, so that's going to be interesting. And I'm really excited Friday. The sky is truly the limit with the Horus Heresy. And overall, I'm just really excited to see more resin models being converted into plastic, as well as just seeing the overall creativity that people are going to have with new Horus Heresy models coming out. But anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you guys have enjoyed. This is NV from 40K Experiences, signing off. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out our other YouTube channels if you're interested in checking out more content from NV. As well as don't forget about our Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you are helping making a dream come true. But anyway, thanks again. This is